$1 billion is a commitment. I guess the easiest place to start is how did that go? And how did you go about deploying the capital?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, great to be here, Ed. Sapphire Ventures, we're focused on investing in B2B companies at the mid to late stage. So we're really looking for companies with product market fit, are generating revenue, and that are proven businesses. With AI, there's been so much innovation and there's been waves of adoption. So what we saw really was in 2023, it was a year of experimentation. This year, 2024, was a year of ROI validation and people actually starting to play with these tools and getting use out of it. And we believe that next year, 2025, will be the year of widespread enterprise adoption. Now, that being said, we've been very active in 2024 and have made several AI investments already.
I sense some sort of tension out there, maybe between the venture capitalist and large tech companies that are making very similar investments, or they're developing technology themselves. And one of your historic portfolio companies is MuleSoft. Bear with me, but I picked that case study because ultimately Salesforce went on to acquire MuleSoft. It was an interesting exit, right?
Yes.
How do you find that next kind of MuleSoft type company, but in the AI context?
I think this conversation is so interesting when we're talking about Gen AI companies, right? In many ways, the incumbents, whether it's Salesforce, Microsoft, Amazon, you name it, they're all actively investing in young AI startups because they're trying to ensure that their future will have AI in it. As an investor, what we look for closely are companies standalone that we think are amazing businesses and can go all the way to IPO, but we also consider other exit paths, including to M&A. So we pay a lot of attention to companies that we believe hold strategic real estate for many of the large tech players.
Cathy, what are the valuations like in the space that you're trying to put money to work? You say you've done a couple of deals in 2024 already. Are they high?
That's a great question, Caroline. The short answer is yes. The reality is that AI is so consensus right now, which arguably means it's a really difficult time to invest because the valuations are so high. So if a perfect deal, that means a perfect valuation. I think our approach and my approach at Sapphire is you have to take a differentiated approach to investing. And because AI, it's still in the early stages of manifestation into different types of companies, you have to take a leap of faith on some dimension. So for me, for example, the leap of faith that I'm taking, which is based again on data and research, is that industries that have historically been technology laggards in terms of adoption are now going to adopt technology en masse. So two examples are a lot of different verticals, right? So manufacturing, construction, healthcare, legal. These are companies and industries that are still operating on pen and paper and on mainframe computers. And the second one is really small businesses, the backbone of the U.S. Over 80% of U.S. businesses are companies under 10 people that have historically not been able to research the latest and greatest when it comes to technology.
I loved what you said before about the validation. We're currently at the point where you have to validate the return on investment. I don't feel like we've had that yet. And I'm wondering whether you're seeing it in the startups you've backed and how you're measuring it, Cathy.
That's such an on-point question, Caroline. I think we've already started that phase. I'll give you an example. Sapphire recently backed Elise AI. I know Minna was on the show a couple of weeks ago. That was a Series D company. What Elise AI does is owns the entire conversation end-to-end between a prospective tenant or tenant and a residential building. A lot of their customers are sophisticated residential real estate companies. They do a lot of internal benchmarking. They don't just trust Elise to show their own benchmarks. They actually do it in-house, and the data shows significant improvements in accuracy, significant improvements in actual results, including customer satisfaction.
Some of the news of late has been OpenAI's big primary at a very high valuation. Yes. Then reports about Anthropic getting itself organized. And one report I spotted was that the minimum check for the OpenAI round, as an example, is $250 million. What's the trickle-down effect of that for you?
Can you explain that question a little bit more?
Yeah, so everyone's clamoring to get into very small concentration of names, including through SPVs.
Yes.
Does that kind of open up the field for you to sort of have access to more startups where people aren't paying attention? Or is it just that you kind of have to say, oh, do I need to be involved in this round, even if it's a stretch for me at growth stage?
Great question, Ed. Look, at the end of the day, as investors, it's our jobs to allocate capital in our fund construction, and that means thematically what we invest in. There's always going to be great deals out there, but we have to find the best use of our capital based on our strategy. So I think it's a great thing for companies like Sapphire, right? Other investors are busy chasing these mega deals in these ultra late stage companies, or they're going super, super early, hypey AI companies that may not have a lot of revenue. That leaves more greenfield for companies like Sapphire that, again, are focused on that mid to late stage company proven. And by the way, it's not just AI. There's plenty of amazing companies out there that aren't Gen AI native companies. And if more investors are looking only at AI, I say that's great for us.
Okay, name one that isn't to do with generative AI that has been exciting to be able to get into or at least analyze.
You know, I think one interesting way to play the broader Gen AI strategy is to think about companies that are leveraging Gen AI for themselves. So I'll give you an example. Metable, which is a Sapphire portfolio company, is a software platform that allows clinical trials to be performed in a decentralized manner. It's not a Gen AI native company, but they're actually actively using Gen AI technology to vastly improve implementation time. So Metable is working with the largest life sciences companies in the world, and implementations can take a long time because of the complexity. But now converting a 1,000-page trial document in a way that is automated and someone without technical expertise can set it up is a game changer.